What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is officially the anniversary of having our Scania truck here in the USA. And what better way than to do a full service on this thing front to back, check everything, grease everything, change our oil filters, fuel filters, air filter, and essentially just do a full check over. Now we have 18,000 miles. I'll let Ryan do the conversion here on the screen of how many kilometers that is. We're a little ahead of schedule on doing an oil change, but it's been a year, and I think it's gonna make some great content for you guys to see just how simple and easy it is to service one of these trucks right here in the USA. And if we get to it, we'll be installing an entire custom bunk bed kit. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this will be the only mid-roof extended cab CR23 Scania truck with bunk beds in it, as it's not a common thing with the mid-roof. Now, Luxo Special Vehicles, Sam over there that runs the joint, really awesome guy. I hit him up a couple months ago. I said, hey, it would be a game changer if Ryan and I had another bed in the truck. So when we're traveling, going to truck shows, Ryan can have somewhere to sleep. Now, I don't know, Ryan, do you think you can sleep on a mattress this wide? Oh, yeah. Us Americans are a little bit bigger and wider. So seems like a pretty simple install. We're gonna see if we can figure it out, where we have to cut some stuff inside the truck, but we're gonna get this thing put up on the lifts, do the full service on it, and see where we're at on time, and possibly be putting bunk beds in this truck today, so don't go nowhere. Well, guys, we're gonna get this thing put up on the lifts. Oh, this truck is a mess. Ryan, why haven't you cleaned it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Well, it was super clean, though. We took someone for a test drive, and it happened to rain while we were out driving it, and then we brought it back, and it's dirty. It's like a full-time job keeping this thing like minty clean. But huge shout out to Challenger Lifts, as always, for keeping us working with nothing but the best tools available on the market. We're gonna get these things all set up in time, working together, and get this thing up in the air. Now, Ryan,
Yeah.
I love how you laid everything out there so nice,
Yeah.
but tell me something. How good is that gonna do us when the truck is up in the air?
Yeah, I
Didn't think about that one. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so we're gonna get these things up in the air, and Ryan's gonna take all this stuff back off of there, and we're gonna go from there. All right, now our bumper splitter has been moving a little bit on us, so we need to find a way to secure it maybe a little bit more, maybe add some screws into the bottom of the bumper, I don't know. And you can see right here where when Whistling Diesel drove this thing, he scraped the bottom of it. Oh, but it's another part of the story, right? Someone looks underneath this, they're like, oh, what happened? Oh, well, Whistling Diesel drove it. Oh, that makes sense. But anyhow, here we are underneath this thing. Right here is the coolant drain. We're not doing anything with coolant, thankfully, so we'll leave that alone right there. We do need to, at some point, crank on the heater and make sure it's good to go, but the air filter, well, I have a lot to figure out. I don't know if the air filter comes out from the bottom or from the top. It looks like it comes out from the top. Hey, I'm a certified Scania technician here. Y'all just back up, okay? Just back up. We'll get it figured out.
Last time we did this, we did it without the lifts.
I know. But the only thing we're really gonna be doing under here is greasing any grease zerks and draining the oil. Right there's our oil drain. Lots of people have asked, is that rear axle actually hooked up and working? Well, as you guys can see, it's got a rear axle here and a drive shaft. Now, since we put the deck plate on it, you haven't been able to see how things connect and work and how that rear end lifts. And right here, just for some of those of you that don't know, you've got these two airbags that actually press up and lift this rear axle up whenever it's not being used. Sorry, the guys are in the shop working. We're a working environment here. So we've got grease zerks and all these dry shafts. We're gonna get that stuff greased up. It's gonna be a good time to check our air tanks and make sure there's no water in them. Right up here. Good to go there. So we're not going to be servicing the transmission. We're not going to be changing any of the rear diff oil or anything like that, because all that's still in great shape. Just draining the engine oil and doing an oil change. So let's get our big drain bucket over here, drop the oil out of this thing, and then we can work from everything else up top after we grease it. All right. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? What do you think? There we go. Look at you guys watching a YouTube video on some guy changing oil. Well, that's as high as that goes. I think we're gonna make a big splash. Yeah. Let me go grab a funnel to funnel it from there to there. Cool about these trucks is how they run the vent tube, and this right here is actually the crankcase vent right here at the very bottom. All right. See if we can make a huge freaking mess. I know it's gonna happen. I'm sure there's ways to do this and not make a mess. Oh, look at that. Not a huge mess made.
Wonder how much is in there.
Uh-oh. Oh, oh. Why is this not draining? Why is it not draining, Ryan? It's not draining in time.
Really lift it up.
I think just the holes in it aren't clear.
There you go, it's going.
Are you sure? I don't think it's going.
It's because it's not getting any higher.
Yeah, it is.
Put the plug in, maybe. Yeah, put the plug in, Bruce.
Crap. No, it's going. I think. Okay, it's going. It's going. Oh boy. Big old magnet on the bottom of that thing. Look at that. Put the drain plug right there. Dude, it's like right there at the top.
It's about to go. How much oil is in there?
A lot. I don't know. We still have to look it up. Dude, we're right at the edges on this thing. It needs to drain a lot faster. Oh, it's slowly creeping.
Well, at least there's no oil on the ground yet.
Yet. Oh my goodness. I do like that it's draining. Oh, there we go. There it's slowing down. Dude, it's like right at the edge. Look at it. All right. Note to self, have a high flowing drain pan extender doohickey before draining the Scania oil again. Oh, I wanted to take an oil sample of it, definitely forgot. I guess we can still do that. We just need to plug that off and get a small cup. No big deal, whatever. All right, we're gonna let this oil finish draining. We've got a new drain plug gasket somewhere around here. So here's our old sealing washer. Here's our new sealing washer. I've got our plug all cleaned up. The new washer put down over them threads nice and careful. Looks like it's still draining a little bit, so we'll let it finish draining. In the meantime, I need to look up and see what the torque spec is on this. But let's get this thing greased. Let me grab our grease gun. All right, we've got our kingpins first. Oh, I hear grease popping, so we're good there. Let's get that upper kingpin. Grease popping there. Should be good there. Now, I don't know every single grease zert or every spot that has a grease fitting, so I'm gonna have to figure that out for myself. I'm not sure if these leaf springs bushings take grease, doesn't look like it. If I'm wrong, comment down below and we'll come back and redo it. Here we go, the same thing over here. These are really easy to get to. I do like that. This one having the steering knuckles a little bit different, but that's okay. Grease popping out there. Should be good. We don't want a bunch of extra grease laying around on stuff. All right, Ryan's testing out this new light box deal. So if you see us floating around a light box, we're figuring it out, folks. So just bear with us. Okay. Now Villa will be in town next week, and we'll ask him if there's any grease fittings we missed, because I'm sure, or if there's any inside the transmission where the clutch is. Ooh, a little bit of dirt and ice. Probably should be wearing some eye protection, but I don't see any grease zerts in there. So we'll put that back where it was. All right, let's move on to the dry shafts. Thankfully, all these grease fittings are pretty accessible for these U-joints. I gotta send Scania a fat bill for greasing their tractor up, huh? Okay. All right, back here to the next one. Man, these grease fittings are all lining up perfectly to get right to them. This like never happens. But I want to wipe this grease off, and I don't want it slinging everywhere on our show truck. Our freaking show unit here. Look at that. Money. Got a little spot for the grease to pop out once it's full. Now that one, oh, dude, how are we getting so lucky? Ryan is failing miserably at this whole light deal.
Two things.
Boom. There we go. There really aren't a lot of moving parts that need to be greased. I like it. It keeps it simple. There's not a lot of crazy stuff to take care of. Now we've got our entire driveline greased. If we miss something, comment down below and let me know. I don't think there's anything else to be greased. Kingpins and dry shaft. You know what I should probably do? Read the owner's manual. I'm sure someone's gonna say that. But let's get this cap put back on the oil drain here, and we will let her down. Now, being that this oil plug screws into a metal piece that's made into the plastic oil pan, I don't want to say plastic, it's like a composite oil pan. We want to torque this to the proper torque spec so we ain't breaking anything or tearing anything up. Okay, let's find a torque wrench. Suggests 25 foot-pounds. Some mechanics suggest less. We're gonna put it to spec. Okay. That's it. That don't seem like much, does it?
No. It's plastic though.
All right. I guess we'll have to monitor oil pressure on going down the road. If we start losing it, we know why, huh? Not good. All right, so we're gonna let this thing down and get to the fuel filter right here on the side. Actually, we probably should just go and open the cap and do that first. But yeah, we're going to take it completely off the lifts. There's no need for it to be on the lifts anymore. So we'll get it off the lifts and get the cab opened up. We'll go ahead and finish servicing the oil side of the stuff. Figure out how we're going to change this air filter out. It must come out from the top. Oh.
I'll give you a centrifuge.
Man, these lifts are game changers. We'd be laying on our backs dirty, covered in oil. Probably definitely covered in oil from making a mess. But what's cool about this truck, we could have picked it up like 1.5 feet with the air suspension and got right in there to everything, so. Okay. We've got some kind of a filter here. Probably fuel filters. I'm assuming that's gonna be our oil filter. I'm not sure, I haven't changed oil on one of these things before. Ryan brought this box of stuff over here, but it actually goes to our bunk beds. And we've got Another filter here with an O-ring. I don't know what in the world that is. Comment down below. I'm sure we'll figure it out at some point in the video, but I don't know what that is. It says rotor. Maybe this is something to do with the centrifuge, like you said. I don't know if this engine has one or not, but we're gonna figure it out today. Let's get the cab open. Gotta use some protection here. All right, air filter. Looks pretty simple to get to, right? I think so. I think we know what we're doing. Don't judge me too much. This is my first time servicing a Scania, a new Scania. I'll go ahead and pull this plug off here. Boom, boom. Now, generally you wouldn't be changing an air filter this early, but for the process of what it takes to service one of these things, we're gonna be doing that. So, we need, not that impact, we need this, and it looks like an 8mm, because everything on this thing's metric, obviously, so we'll just go ahead and, oh, I lied, I'm a newbie, I don't know what I'm doing, it's my first time. Maybe a 7, I don't know, 7. All right, and then there's one down there, but we need a ratchet for that. Then we'll save it for the next one. I don't know. Get down in there to that boy. Nice little workbench here with these fenders. We've got a rubber deal here that holds this thing in its home. That right there. That's stuck from being on there. It's all just so brand new. So brand new. Come out of your home. All right, one intake pipe out of the way. Now we can get in here and get to our air filter, which is a 6-point star bit looking doohickey, which I don't think we have any of those in this toolbox. No, this toolbox is looking pitiful, isn't it? It's just, we need to do a little bit more organization. All right, get to these bolts here. Pull this cover off the top. Oh, check that out. The whole thing comes up with it. Ooh, she is a little deer tay. But now keep in mind, we've been doing some stuff with this thing. I mean, it's not bad. We've been doing stuff with this thing that these trucks wouldn't normally do, like sled pulling and stuff like that. So we've seen lots of dirt and dust in different places. So it's not terrible, but it's not great. So yes, Ryan, we're gonna be replacing it with a new filter. There is some gunk down there in the bottom I don't like seeing, so we're gonna try to clean that out. Look at that. There's some stuff. See it down in there? Yeah, let's get all that out. So I've got our gunk out the bottom of it. We're gonna slide our new air filter down in there. And it has like this slot that it lines up in. Boom, right there in its home. Take our cover, inspect it. Everything looks good there. This thing is like almost completely sealed. That's crazy. What? Like sealed. Line it up. I'm sure mechanics that do this every day are like, God, this guy is like working so slow. There we go. Put this thing on power level 1 before we run these back down. Now I am quite sure there's probably and definitely is a torque spec for that, but it's got about 15 ugga duggas. It's tight. this back on there. Into its home. I'm gonna press this down in there. Boom, like it was made to be. I think it is made to be like that. And put our wires on here where everything was. Right there. Boom. Bada bing bop bebop boop. Okay. Now we can tighten up these clamps and our air filter is done. Now, I don't have lots of metric big sockets. I need to probably invest in that. We're gonna keep playing with Scannies. Well, dang, it's not 1 5/16, it's not 1 3/8. It's probably going to be close to 1.5 inches. Dang, we're striking out on every turn. I'm getting really, really forgetful on what sizes things are. All right, I believe this looks like one of the fuel filters. Get this thing open. Now, the way these fuel filters work is they actually have a check valve in the bottom of them. So when you pull the fuel filter, oh no, dang, I got to clean this thing after this. Whenever you pull the noise. Now there's probably a drain valve somewhere that lets you drain it before you make a mess like I just did, and or you change the fuel filter back there first, but that's okay. We're figuring it out on our own. Now, how do you get that thing out? You know what? Let's look at the new filter that goes in it and see if it has like a locking mechanism in the bottom. Now, I changed fuel filters on one of these a while back. We'll throw a clip up here on the screen where our friends from Holland, I believe, came over and visited us, Moving Mountains V8 guys. We're there in this RV when we were in Florida. And it was actually the first time I got to see a next-gen Scania, and happened to be like a few days before we actually left to go to Sweden for the first time. So right here is our new fuel filter. Yep, that's the same one we're changing right now. Now, okay, it does look like it has some kind of a locking mechanism, so we're probably gonna have to twist it to release it. So put that back right there where it stays nice and clean. One of these things has to turn a certain way, I think. All right, well, it seemed as though it was just stuck. So, this filter shaking right there, put it right here in our cup. We're gonna go put it right over here in our drain pan. Probably should roll this a little bit closer, but let's look at this thing. I see a little bit of algae in here. You know, you can see that kind of gooey stuff. So, filter's definitely doing its job. Leave that right there. Take our cap back over here. Now, before we just drop the new fuel filter in there, we've got to clean this out. We're gonna swap our O-ring here. Looks like they did have a little bit of grease on it, so we'll probably re-grease our O-ring so it's not going in there dry. But we need to suck all that fuel out of there, because if we drop the new filter right down in there, it's just gonna let that dirty, contaminated fuel go right into our engine. So what I've got here is a vacuum canister, and we're gonna hook our air to it. And this is gonna create a suction right here on this pipe once that canister fills with air and vacuum. And it's going to suck out the fuel that we have in that bowl still. Okay. All right, all of our fuel is sucked out of there. Well, look at that. So now we can drop our new fuel filter in there. I don't know if there's a certain way, it doesn't look like it. We're just gonna drop her down in there. Push it down. Now, our cap here, we have got to change the O-ring that's on it. Oh, that boy is on there, ain't it? There we go. We've got some new O-rings right here. I think that's the correct one. Let's make sure. Yep. Now this isn't dirt or anything. It's just kind of shiny because of the grease that's on there from the factory. Now again, guys, generally you wouldn't be doing this type of service this soon, but for content's sake, just want to show how kind of simple it is to do a service on one of these. And there's still plenty of grease right there for that O-ring. Drop that right there and just screw it right down. Right there's your fuel filter on the engine. Now there is one down there on the tank we still have to do, but we'll go ahead and get this stuff knocked out. Now, I'm sure there's a proper torque rating on this, but when we pulled this one apart, it was just simply bring it right down to the top and that's it. No sense in going crazy tight. There we go. Now, oil filter. Get this thing out of here, see how she looks. I'm sure it's gonna be black. But I will say this, the condition of that oil is in great shape compared to most trucks that have an EGR on them, for example. Since this is a non-EGR engine, our oil stays cleaner for a lot longer period of time. All right. Now, can I do this without making a mess on top of our beautiful, oh, look at that. Dang, I'm good. I have to hire me full time. This thing, I believe, snaps, oh yeah, just like that. Kind of snaps down inside there. One oil filter out. And let's grab some brake clean and we'll clean this cap out really good. Get all that old nasty oil out of there. We're gonna take that vacuum and vacuum all the old oil out of that canister that's on the engine. Okay, all right, new oil filter, canister style. Put our new O-ring on there. Now I've already used the vacuum, I forgot, we didn't get it on camera, but we got that thing all vacuumed out, cleaned out. Get our oil filter snapped down in here to its home, just like that. Now, we need to lube this up with something. So, let's go find some lube and we'll get it lubed up. All right, I've got this thing lubed up. You slide back down in there to its home. Get this twisted down in there. I think right up there is the centrifuge. That other canister we had, or like, what is that? We're gonna get that swapped out after we finish tightening up our oil filter here. Oh, they actually say what the torque is, 25 Newton meters. Boom, 25 Newton meters. I'm just kidding. We'll get the torque wrench and double check our work here. All right, 25 Nm. Let's go ahead and back these off. Pull her down. See, it's saying 25 right there, but it's not even tight to the top. So, I guess it depends on how well you have it lubed and stuff like that. We're still learning. We'll ask Villa when he gets over here, how tight do you put these? All right, oil centrifuge, assuming this is it right here in the top. Hey, check that out. Ooh, she is kind of full of gunk. Interesting. Okay, so that is what this is. This is our centrifuge. What this does, oil comes inside here, pressurized in there, and you see these little pieces right here, they're squirters. So oil comes in, and this thing sits there and spins like that. But oil comes in here and it collects contaminants and things like that and spins it out. And the older Scania, when we serviced those, had a spinner in there, and inside of it, you could actually take this out as a metal piece and service it, and it would put paper in there for all the gunk and discharge and everything from the engine to collect. So basically just an extremely clean oil system is how these things work. Yeah, you can see there's not much oil inside there. Get this O-ring off. Put our new one on there. That seems pretty clean. I don't see any reason to clean that out. to drop this thing in its home. If I can get it lined up right. See, it just sits there and spins like that with oil pressure going in, and the way it comes out, it causes it to spin around like a crazy person. I think the key is getting it lined up perfectly so it still spins like it's supposed to. So. Get a little oomph there. All right, oil centrifuge changed. All right, now we still have some wires and stuff connected in here from the lights we've added, so we can't necessarily take this completely off like you normally would on a completely stock truck, so we'll let it kind of sit there on the side. Right here is the next filter we need to get to. So, let's put our drain pan in there. Right there. We have our Scania oil and fuel filter socket here. That one's a little dry. We might put a little bit of grease on that one. I think there's a big long daddy inside here that we have left over still. And this is going to be the fuel filter that catches literally everything before it goes up to the engine. Which is this big boy. Look at this thing. That's a heck of a filter. All right, now maybe someone can comment down below and tell me exactly what this canister is right here on the side of the truck. I was thinking it had something to do with like a fuel heater, filtration, and it helps you use basically every ounce of fuel in these fuel tanks. Put that right there. But look at that filter compared to our new one. That's beautifully white over there. Got some gunk in it. A little gunk in the trunk. I mean, we've gotten fuel. Yeah, look at that right there. See? Yummy. We have filled this thing up with fuel from all different places all over the U.S. with the travels we've done, so I can see that one getting a little dirty. Before we completely open that filter up, we've got a new O-ring right there to go on this housing also. New O-rings for everybody. And then we're gonna put a little bit of grease on this one because it didn't sound like it had too much on it. So we wanna make this easier for the next time either we service it or someone else, who knows. So when they have to take this out, it comes out nice and easy. All right, so I've got some of the grease that we use to grease the truck. Just a little dab will do it. Nothing crazy. That right there as to not get anything else inside. Now we don't have to use the vacuum and clean that out because the fuel drained itself. We're gonna take this, try not to get anything dirty. I've wiped my gloves down the best I could. I believe that snaps. Boom, look at that. That's a fuel filter. Go back up in there in his home. I'm going to assume it lines itself up. I could be wrong. It does seem like it's a little stiff going in there. There we go. Okay. Now, this thing's gonna take a little bit to prime because that whole entire box there just drained out. So, I'm sure I'll have to turn the key on. I don't know if this thing has an electric fuel pump or not. I don't know. It's my first time. I'm new here. So, now how do we get our drain tank out of there, Randy? Oh. All right, let's hook our little straps back up. Put that back in its home. Same with back here. All right, all of our filters have been successfully changed. Now we can lay the cab back down, put oil in this beast and fire it up, and we get to reset some stuff on the dash to let it know, hey, the service has been done. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up our video. Yes, we still need to put oil in it. It takes between 10 and 11 gallons converted from liters, which is like 36 to 41 liters is what the Google says. but we had to order the oil. We have 15W40. We put in a lot of the farm and construction equipment here, but it calls for 10W40. So we have that coming from the parts store, but they don't get in a rush to do anything. But you can kind of see start to finish just how simple and easy it is to do a service on one of these trucks. It's taken us about, I don't know, about an hour between filming and doing everything else. If we were just had everything right here, boom, 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 I'd say 30 minutes in and out. All the fuel filters, air filter, centrifuge, and oil change, everything front to back. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe. We're not gonna be putting the beds in this video, either the next video or here in the very near future. We'll get the beds put in, show you guys that whole entire process on the camera, but I hope you all enjoyed some Scania content. We'll see you later. Peace. And also, if you have any questions about anything to do with Scania trucks or have any opinions on anything about Scania trucks around the USA, drop an email, askscaniausa@gmail.com.